All right, everybody. First test run of this thing is officially in the books. Overall, that was an extremely impressive shakedown run, and it is unimaginably satisfying to watch and feel all that hard work come to life. Of course, there's a few issues I'm going to have to address before I take it out again. So the first is the clutching. So just the way I have the clutching set up on this, see the primary clutch is off of the Snowmobile that the engine came out of, but the secondary clutch is from a Razor, and so a Razor takes a much narrower belt. Long story short, I used a belt similar to that of a Razor, so as you can see, there is quite a gap between the belt and the movable sheave of the primary, so that is not good. Really, you know, messes with the pressure against the belt, and yeah, that distance should be a lot smaller. That should really be about a hair's width. I don't know the exact spec, but you get the idea. Then the next thing is the tuning of the carburetor. So as you can tell in the video, it's not ideal. It sounds like it is a little bit lean on top, which maybe I did go a little bit overkill with getting smaller jets, smaller main jets in the carburetors here. You know, being summertime and, you know, the temperature is hotter, you know, I knew I had to bump the jets down a little bit, but, you know, I should probably try and bump those back up again. So the third thing I'd like to address before the next time I bring this out is the ride height of the rear, which actually I've already fixed a little bit. So I just didn't like how high up it was riding, so there's actually a way I can adjust the ride height, and that's just in the front ball joint. If you thread that backwards, that will actually lower your ride height because, you know, the way that the arm is attached to the shock, you know, it does raise the wheel up, and so it'll fix that. The next most important thing I can think of is I should definitely get a skid plate on this. I mean, really, that should be way up on the priority list. Yeah, I only ran it that hard without a skid plate just because, you know, I knew it was on a dirt track, and, you know, at first I was driving it on the street, so I wasn't really too concerned about anything kicking up and hitting you, but I do want to take this thing into the woods eventually, you know, drive it on some trails in the woods, and yeah, I really don't want to be running this thing without a skid plate. So other than that, I can just start working on other things to button this thing up. You know, of course, like I mentioned, the skid plate, The body panels, you know, of course I want to put some panels inside, you know, all of the structure of the frame here, protect, you know, the occupant. Want to clean up the wiring and just, you know, clean up like the brake lines and all that stuff in general. Then of course I'll need to figure out a dash for this thing. So I do have the gauges that came off the snowmobile, speedometer, tachometer, and all that. So that will be going on here at some point or another. And then of course I have to figure out headlight and brake lights and all that good stuff, but it's definitely coming along. One thing I was a little bit concerned about that this test run quickly put to bed was the ability of this radiator to cool the engine. So being a snowmobile engine, this has to run a lot cooler than say your standard UTV or ATV engine. So this engine, I believe, should operate anywhere from 140 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Whereas, you know, again, a UTV or ATV engine should operate around 190 to 210, you know, somewhere in that neighborhood. But yeah, even when I was romping on it, you know, driving on that dirt track, and you know, I pulled in and stopped, you can actually see the temperature readout here, right there. Yeah, it was at about 130 degrees, and it stayed there consistently. Again, thank you everybody for your support, and if you've stuck around the video for this long, thanks again. And yeah, that's about it for now. Catch you on the next one.